Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to PG Mid-Atlantic Spittin' Seeds podcast. My name's Gary Wilson, along with John McAdams. Today we have two special guests, Mike Adams and Ed Charlton from Baseball Performance Center out of Pleasantville, New Jersey, correct?
Yep, that's right. Thanks for having us.
AKA BPC.
PC.
How you guys doing?
Or the Arm Factory. I like that.
Doing well, hanging in there.
Well,
Good. We appreciate you guys being here. How's everybody doing in the BPC family? Is everybody safe and healthy?
Yeah, everybody's pretty good so far. We're doing as good as we can be doing, so trying to pass some time until we can get back to baseball.
Yeah, physically healthy, but not mentally healthy.
Yeah, physically everybody's ready. Mentally,
banging your head against the wall is healthy, then we're good.
yeah.
Good deal. Well, hey, this is the Spittin' Seeds podcast. So first and foremost, I got to ask you guys, what's your go-to sunflower seed?
I'm a jumbo
Classic.
original.
What are you?
Jumbo original.
Ooh,
Okay.
they're
Yeah, I
they're
like
both
that.
classic guys, John.
Yeah,
I know. That's interesting.
Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
It's that's old school right there. I like
that
it.
is, yeah. It's standard, but
All right, so during this quarantine thing, I know everybody has to be at home, inside, outside. We've been asking people what they're doing to get their players ready for the upcoming season, whenever that may be. Whether it's training videos, them sending videos. I see on your social media that you guys are doing some interesting stuff. Some online video group training I saw, and some one-on-one college coach interviews, which I think is really cool. I'm really interested in that. So I just want you guys to touch on that and explain to everybody, what you're doing.
Yeah, so I mean, the video training, it's just something new we're trying out. Obviously because it's pretty limited with what we're allowed to do. So I mean, we're at our facility, we're group style training. There's not a ton of like just one-on-one, like you don't pay to come and do a lesson. You're in a training atmosphere, everybody's doing the same stuff, getting after it.
Okay.
We wanted to keep that same dynamic. And I'm going to do it with hitters. Mike's going to do it with pitchers, and we're just going to, there could be, it doesn't matter how many guys are in the group when we're doing the video call. We could be talking about just breaking down video of big leaguers or working on their swings. Doesn't matter. It's going to be an open forum, basically, of whatever we want to talk about. And then the college coaches, one-on-one stuff. We know a lot of the coaches. We have a pretty good relationship with all of them. And the first 10 people that I reached out to, they all said yes. So I kind of stopped and pumped the brakes. I don't want to get too many guys lined up, but it should be a pretty good lineup. We got Giuseppe Papaccio tomorrow from NJIT. Then we're going to follow up with Rob Valley from RCGC.
Yep.
And he's gonna talk about the eligibility and everything. Figured he's a pretty good candidate for that one. And then the rest of the guys, we got Timmy Riley with Lafayette, just got the head coaching job there.
Got the head coaching job.
Yep.
Congrats, Timmy.
Yep. Fred Corella, head coach at Mercer. John Murphy, Boston College. Paul Panic, Iona. Brendan Monahan, Rutgers. Mike Marin, ODU. Ryan Wheeler, St. Joe's, and then Ty Blankmeyer is going to jump on with us too.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good list right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's one of the better ideas I've heard, especially because we've been talking about exposure pretty much every podcast that we've done so far, and there's no better way to expose yourself. I mean, I don't know the exact format of what you guys are doing with that, whether they're just going to be on a video call and listening, or they're going to send video to these guys. But I mean, to be able to be in front of a college coach for a half hour, an hour, or whatever you're doing, that's pretty priceless.
Yeah, the plan is to talk on a topic. So tomorrow, me and Giuseppe are going to talk some hitting stuff, and basically the guys are going to be able to listen in. It's going to be on a Zoom call in a webinar, and they're going to be able to be in the call. They can type in questions that while we're doing it. So they're not going to be face to face with them, as I don't
Okay.
know exactly what all the rules are with
Yeah,
compliance.
yeah.
Sure.
Go too far, but they're going to be able to type in some questions while we're doing it. And then we want to give the coaches the opportunity to kind of, open the floor up for them and talk about their school, talk about the program, kind of sell the program a little bit.
That's awesome.
Because it's the same thing for them. They can't really get out and recruit. So
Yeah.
the only way that they can really do that right now is through this type of forum. And we want to just make sure that they can connect with our guys, and our guys can kind of reach out and, talk to them a little bit too.
Good deal. So are you guys doing anything? I know that, we keep on touching on this, is the unknown is what's driving everybody crazy. We don't know when we're going to be back on the field. So we don't really know like what to do training wise to reach a certain goal, because we don't know when that goal is supposed to be. Right. So I guess, is there anything that you guys are doing to check in on your guys to see, their progression and whatever it is that you're giving them in training purposes?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the tough part for us is every guy's a little bit different, especially right now. You got the college guys home and the high school guys. So you're trying to figure out whether you're preparing some of them for summer ball, some of them for possibly next fall, some of them for, next month. But yeah, I mean, obviously we have all our guys that are on throwing programs. They have lifting programs as well that are tailored to what kind of equipment they have and what they can use around their house. But I actually built a little plyo wall in my garage. So we've been having like a guy or two come over and throw and do some stuff that way. But I don't know how much longer that's going to be able to go on. But I know some guys have been getting together and long tossing at the football field and kind of staying in shape any way they can. But it's definitely no man's land for a lot of people. And like you said, them not really knowing what to prepare or when is going to be the tough part. And I think that's going to be the tough part for coaches too, is when they're allowed to play, is making sure that their players are ready to actually pitch and actually, throw 5 innings or 4 innings, however many they're going to. I think that's going to be the toughest part for everyone.
Yeah, we all know that that's obviously a lot different than being in the backyard and throwing a 35 pitch bullpen. So you're right. It is going to be the toughest thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you guys, I kind of being in the travel ball world prior, and then now to where I am too. And obviously you guys have top prospects throughout. Me and Gary spoke about it with the 2 previous guys. And then in our first episode, the kind of the progression you guys from your facility, when it started to what it looks like now. You guys always had that old school mentality of kind of finding ingenuity and stuff like that. And I think I felt that it's kind of refreshing. Now you start seeing kids in, whether it's Mike's backyard or on the football field, or coming up with obscure objects to use for weight loading lifts and stuff like that. It's actually pretty cool. And I'm interested to see if we can get back to adding more of that in, because we know we have Repsodo and Blast Motion and all this technology at our fingertips. I'm a proponent of a little bit of both. Because there's usefulness to all of it. But I'm interested to see kind of where these kids lie after this happens.
Yeah, it's definitely good to have both. And I think that's the one thing about our facility too, is that it's got a little bit of the old school aura about it when you walk in. We're in like a storage building. It's not state of the art. Like there's no lobby, there's no waiting room, there's nowhere for parents to sit. They drop their kid off, and it's kind of their little space to be themselves and grow a little bit. And I think that's why it works so well, is because they feel that they can like express themselves, and they're around others and they're kind of learning from each other. So it's good, and I think that's one of the key components, and that's something that hopefully these guys can carry with them. During this time, whether they're in their garage or their basement or just throwing in between their neighbor's yard. So that's good to see so far.
Definitely, yeah. Our guys are around each other. When we were open, they're around each other every day for hours, and they figure out when to get in there with each other and who they want to be around. So it's definitely cool because our guys, they're used to being around each other. They know who to call when they want to go outside and throw or want to go find a place to hit. They know exactly who to call. They're not lost.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you could see that. I mean, especially the growth that you've had in such a short amount of time, and the level of players that you're producing out of your program. There has to be some kind of camaraderie, sorry, there to to be that way as a program. So it definitely speaks volumes.
Yeah, I think that's one of the unique parts about our facility and our team is that every one of our guys is from within 25 30 minutes of our facility, which I feel like is pretty rare for a lot of teams. Like if
Definitely.
you look at the roster, like these are all guys that play in the Cape Atlantic League. That's like the local high school league, and I feel like that's a lot different than a lot of these bigger teams that you'll play. We have one guy that's from out of state, and he's just a guy who kind of came to us from Delaware, who ended up trekking down a couple days a week to train. But other than that, everyone else is from right around 30 minutes away. So they're really good friends. They play against each other in high school, so it really helps, and it's makes it a lot more fun to be around them because they know each other so well.
Well, that's the key thing, Mike. You said the guy's from Delaware, but you met him because he's trekking down the train, right?
Yep.
So, like,
Mhm.
even though he's from out of state, he's still coming to the facility to train, where a lot of these programs, they have guys from out of state, but what they do is they show up to the tournaments on the weekends and play. And
Yep.
I just find that hard to, develop any kind of special relationships with the team. And, it's definitely something special over there at BPC.
Yeah, and it's especially tough to build a relationship with a player when you're only with them for an hour or two on the weekend. And that's the one thing that makes, I think, our facility that it runs well, is because obviously the knowledge and the teaching and how it's run is important, but the environment's the most important thing. So like they come in there and like you got a guy like, I mean, Chase Petty, for example, like if he wants to be the best guy at the facility, like every day he comes in to throw a bullpen, like he better have his best stuff, because there's 10 guys behind him that also throw 90 that are coming right for him. So it kind of keeps everyone accountable, and it keeps the competition level high.
Yeah.
Sure.
Good deal. Well, hey, let's move into your thoughts about the shortened seasons, whether it's high school, college, any kind of ramifications it's going to have with the draft, or the draft being shortened. I mean, again, there's a lot of speculation going on, and I'm sure everybody has thoughts about that. So we're interested to hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, especially with the draft and especially with the NCAA yesterday ruling that everyone's going to get a year back, there's definitely going to be crowded rosters at the college level, and that could be, depending on who you are, that could be really good. That could be tough. So I think the higher level, like your SECs, your Big Tens, those are the schools that are going to have to make a lot of tough decisions, because they're banking on guys getting drafted, and with the draft being shortened, now you're kind of in no man's land for a certain amount for each guy, especially like your high school classes that you assume this guy's going to be a first rounder. He probably won't get here.
Yeah.
Now he very well could get there, depending on signability, but it's definitely going to make. I mean, obviously the next 4 or 5 years in college baseball is going to be a lot different, especially with the scholarship money. And I think it's going to make it difficult with JUCO guys, because, they could end up being on a roster, supposed to be on a roster this fall. They could end up staying another year in JUCO, or they could go and be a junior at their school. So it's going to be very interesting. But I mean, I think it's going to push most of the high school guys to college. They're really not going to take a chance on guys who aren't signable. So you're definitely going to get some top tier talent in college, which is going to be good.
Yeah, I thought
Sure. Now, do you guys agree with the blanket waiver? As far as that, you think that it's beneficial for some people and not beneficial for others? What's your feeling just on the blanket waiver? Obviously for D1, and the NJCAA came out with, they're kind of still going over some fine details as far as, hey, are they going to go in and be a junior? What's it going to count for, roster limits, et cetera?
I mean, I don't know exactly, how I feel about it. I know that giving everybody another year is going to, change a lot of things. it's going to clog up college baseball for a few years. But I also think that we're going to see some of the best college baseball we've ever seen, with guys sticking around, guys choosing to go to school, draft being shortened. I think the draft is going to get shortened anyway. Now they have an excuse to roll with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly how I feel about it. I mean, it's good. It's good. My brother's a junior in college. He was at JUCO for 2 years, and this was his first year at a D1 school. And I'm happy that he's got another year back.
Sure.
He only got to play 10 games. He was hurt for the first 10. So I felt bad for him. But it's tough. You can't make everybody happy. And I feel like that's what they're trying to do. But there was really no like good decision. It was just try to appease as many people as you can, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it puts the coaches in the toughest spot, because now they're going to have to make a lot of decisions depending on who they keep. Even those seniors that get an extra year back, I know they have the choice to give the scholarships to some of them and some of them not. So I think the ball is going to be in the coaches. They're going to be the ones that are really going to have to make the tough decisions. So it'll be very interesting to see how that goes.
It's definitely going to be interesting. I'm kind of in the same boat as Ed. Like, I'm a really black and white guy. So like without facts, I don't really have too much of an opinion, because I don't know what's going to happen. So I don't really even know what to think. But what you were talking about, Mike, you were talking about the college coaches, and Johnny and I continue to talk about like these uncommitted guys that are in their later year of high school, right?
Yeah.
New Jersey high school season pretty much was nothing.
Yeah.
And now with the travel ball season, we still don't know when that's going to start up. We can all speculate, but we don't know when it's going to start up. So we don't know these guys who are uncommitted in their junior and senior year of high school. We don't know when they're going to be back on the field. So have you guys, and I don't know if you have too many of those uncommitted guys in their later years of high school, but have you guys thought about it or talked about like what you plan on, what your plan of attack is for those guys to get them into school?
Yeah, I mean, obviously right now is a really important time for them to stay in shape, but I think we're probably going to have an event for them early in the summer. Just hopefully that could be the first event to get them out there and get them showcased. But it's going to make it harder for them, because now, schools they might not waste that little money they have on, that last arm in the 2021 class, and they could save it for something bigger in the 22 or an extra guy that's going to come back a year. So it's going to change a lot. And those guys actually, have to kind of take their game to the next level to really get to where they want to. But hopefully the summer season doesn't get delayed too long, so those guys can get out there and showcase themselves. But it definitely makes it harder on them.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, have you guys been in contact with, we know the stable of prospects that you guys have, but specifically you guys have some 2020s, like a Kenny Lavari, a two-way guy committed to ODU. Or a Sean Duffy that's committed to High Point. Realistically, me talking to some guys from a pro status and so forth, where their mindsets are now that they may not get a high school season, to give that last look to potentially see. Whether they were signable or not to begin with, it may be harder now, obviously with less rounds, or where their mentality is. Are they kind of moving towards going to school? Or they changed their thought process on the draft? And kind of expand upon that.
Yeah, it's definitely changes. We've had, meetings with those guys, all winter about these, about what could happen. And I think now at this point, I think it seems like if they get drafted, they would probably go, just because you never know, how easy it's going to be to get into pro ball after this. They're going to cut levels, they're going to cut the draft down, so it's going to be much harder. But it seems like unless, obviously it being 5 rounds, I don't know how many of them are going to be in the top 5. It's tough, especially because, all the college juniors that are probably going to have to go a little bit earlier now, and they can pick seniors just to save money. It kind of depends on the way each team plays it. Depending on how much money they want to save, like they could pick college seniors and give them a couple thousand and take that money and run with it. But I would say it looks like they're probably going to end up in college, which we tell them all the time, like either way you go, like if you're good enough, you're going to find your way to make it there. So there's really not a wrong decision. You get drafted, cool. You go to pro ball, you're trying to go to the bigs anyway, or you go to college. Either way, you're going to have guys that are just as good as around you, and you need to be prepared for that. But it's definitely, I haven't really even, obviously after the NCAA ruling yesterday, I haven't even got to talk to a lot of them about it. So it's going to be interesting, but I would say if they get drafted, they'd probably go. And if not, they're going to be in school.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, covered that pretty well. The draft just smaller, I don't know. Yeah, there's just so many question marks. I have no idea. I need more answers before we start doing this.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm like, I continue to say, like, the lack of knowledge of the future and what that holds for us is what's giving everybody the anxiety. I mean, yesterday we spoke to Rob Maida. He said it perfectly. He's like, Americans in general, they like to set goals. Right now, it's like impossible to set a goal. So we're going crazy. We just want our regular life back.
Yeah.
But when it's back and we're in full swing of things, we'll be happy for a little bit, and then we'll say, oh my God, I'm exhausted.
Oh, I know.
So, we spoke about a couple of your guys who are committed and, maybe draft eligible. But before we get off of here, I just wanted you guys to touch upon, some more players in your program that are maybe, already known by the baseball public, or maybe some guys that, aren't on the radar, that are some sleepers that, you guys want to expose to the baseball world.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, most people know Kenny Lavari, Luke Vax, and Sean Duffy, but there's a couple guys in the 2020 class. Jake McKenna, he's a 6'6" lefty. He's committed to St. Joe's, been up to 93. He's a guy that I think had some pretty good draft aspirations, as well as Alex Hunt and Brett Witrowski. Both are really athletic righties who are, 88, 92. So those are the three guys that have really kind of put themselves on the map this offseason. And have had really strong winners. And obviously in the 2021 class, Chase Petty, everyone probably knows who he is, and Matt Noonan, his brother Dan was drafted. He's a Boston College commit. So he's a guy who did really well this fall. Justin Zestawicki, another guy who's a North Carolina commit, who was up to 93, added a really good breaking ball. He's going to be a guy that's going to turn some heads. And then Jackson Vanesco and Frank Wright are two other guys. Jackson was a low 80s guy going into the winter and has been up to 87, 88. He's another 6'4" lefty with a really good breaker. And Frank Wright, he's a Wagner commit, 88 to 90, strike throw machine. So those guys right there are guys who we are expecting to have pretty big high school years this year. Obviously, that's probably in jeopardy, but they'll all be with us in the summer, which is exciting.
Sure. And I know through some of the progressionary stuff, I mean, Jackson Vanesco, I've known him probably since he's been 11 or 12. He was rail thin and has been in your guys' program and doing stuff, whether it's your guys' lifting program, becoming more flexible, obviously with the weighted ball stuff, long tossing. Obviously, the big elephant in the room is Chase Petty. I mean, we saw your guys' Instagram of him 94 to 96. Or skipping and throwing with his shirt off. And we talked about that environment that you guys create. And everybody wants to be, all right, well, Chase is going to take his shirt off. I'm going to take my shirt off and try to throw it through the wall. But I know we spoke, too, that McKenna was a kid who had continued to progress. Obviously, 6'6" and left-handed is big, committed to St. Joe's. Along those lines, it seems like you guys – I always like to say the stable that you guys have at BPC. I mean, obviously we got lefties, we got righties, and guys as far as like we talked about earlier, a kid like David Hageman.
Hageman. Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't mention him too.
Or stuff like that, or even guys sleepers. I mean, we see 22s and 23s like Ryan Weingartner, who's like a little ball of fire. And he kind of goes about his business, and he even has his little brother in there. So any sleepers that we don't know about, or maybe we do know about, but maybe not where their progression is or anything?
I got a couple written down.
Yeah, go for it.
You got a kid who drives down Kellen Davis.
Yep.
This kid, we had our BPC challenge. It's similar to the Omaha challenge, pretty much the same thing, just a bunch of events and guys get after it. He pretty much took first place in every event. Every individual physical event was insane.
Beast.
But he's a righty on the mound. What's his velo? 84.
He's 80, 84, 86. Yeah.
Yeah. But strike throwing machine, physical freak. He's another good one. He's
gonna throw really hard.
Jaden Shertell.
Yep.
Outfield, quarterback for St. Joe's, 2-time state champ. Nobody gets to see him play that much baseball because he's at a football powerhouse, and they're so football all the time. He played 2 tournaments with us last summer, and lit both of them up. But he is very talented, left-handed bat, left-handed outfielder. Physical, can run, can throw, and he hits. Who else we got? Our second baseman, another outfitter, Brody Levin, Clayton Sands, both mainland products with Chase Petty, Mark Elliott, another one there. And then, it's just some 22s, Cole Mercado, Trevor Cohen, and then Ryan Weingartner, who you already touched on. But Trevor Cohen, he's one of the top-ranked outfielders in the state for his class, smooth lefty. He's going to be really good. And Cole's older brother, Brock Mercado, another 21, uncommitted catcher. He's a solid catcher, catches all our guys. So
yeah, he's going to handle the staff this year. So he's going to when he gets to college, he's going to be pretty well prepared.
Both left-handed hitters, right?
Yep.
I just to touch on Ryan Weingartner real quick. Bill and I are friendly. We've been in touch for a couple of years now, and he's been showing me the progression that Ryan's made. I helped Ryan get into the the junior national last year. He spiked like 6 or 7 miles an hour across the infield in 1 year. So just wanted to give him a shout out for his progression, and I know he's a hard worker.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. He's got a really bright future. I think he's going to be very similar to Kenny as far as being able to be a two-way guy in college. Because obviously he's got the arm on the mound and he's really smooth and can swing it. So he's going to be when that 22 class in a few years, him and obviously Tommy Finnegan, those two guys, and Trevor are gonna have a really strong class.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to get back on the field and to see these guys in action. Obviously, we follow you guys at PG. We appreciate your support of PG. We appreciate you guys being on here. And just real quick, because I think that you guys have a lot of cool social media stuff for everybody to see. Just give everybody your social media handles for them to follow.
Yeah, so Instagram, it's at Baseball Performance Center. With an underscore at the end on Instagram, and then on Twitter is at _BPCSJ. Those are the two where we put most of our content.
Yeah, and you can really just go on there and search Baseball Performance Center. It'll pop up. You can't miss the logo. And this was great, guys. We appreciate you, and hopefully we'll see you on the field soon.
Yeah, we look forward to it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, stay safe.
You guys as well.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
No problem.